Hello and welcome. Hope you're having a great day. Chris Evans along with the Woodcrest Fire Chief Luke Young. Luke, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Luke Young, boy. Luke, longtime Guthrie. Mom taught here. Brother played football here. You played football here. Your dad, longtime firefighter. We were talking the other day during the Guthrie football game, and Guthrie hit 3 field goals in one game. And we're like, when's the last time that happened? And so I was messaging Mashu trying to figure that out because he's been a long-time special coach here. Yeah. And he goes, that's a good question. I don't know. He got back to me the next day, and he thinks it was a guy named Ben Young who kicked 3 field goals his senior year against Douglas. That would be your brother.
Yeah, Ben is my brother. Ben's a captain at the Edmond Fire Department. He's been there for 24 years now. I remember that game specifically. It was an extremely cold game. And he said it felt like he was kicking a cinder block. But Coach Mashu, great coach and great person for Guthrie Schools in the city of Guthrie, and long time Blue Jay. But he would know all those facts off the top of his head for sure. But it was a memorable moment for him for sure.
You talk about your brother Ben, long time there. How long was your dad in firefighting?
Dad was at Edmond for 27 years.
27 years.
At one brief period, all 3 of us were career firefighters at the same time. Dad was about to retire, and I had just gotten hired with the city of Guthrie. I was at Guthrie Fire, and Ben was also on at Edmond at the same time for about a year at the same time. So at one point, all 3 of us were all on duty as career firefighters.
Of course, Woodcrest has a measure to the citizens in their area will be voting on. We'll be talking about that here in a little bit. How long have you been at Woodcrest?
I had been at Woodcrest, since the beginning of we're just over a decade, almost 11 years.
Time flies, man.
I've been the fire chief out there for almost 10 years. It's been a long ride. We've tried to accomplish a lot of things with the budget and the funding that we've had, and we've had a lot of great board members who've been part of that. We have a fantastic staff of personnel out there. Another longtime Blue Jay, my assistant chief, Chris Wilder.
Yep.
Chris has been there for over 20 years, and it's guys like him that show that kind of dedication and service to just volunteering and putting your time and your efforts and that passion to want to serve your community. It's awesome to see the growth and everything that's happened with the department.
Yeah, and there's been so many great things, and we're going to talk about some of those great things, but I think one of the biggest recent memory is that brand new. How long's the station been there? Really, I say brand new. I'm becoming the old guy.
We still call it the new station.
Yeah.
Because if you ever actually operated out of the old station, to us it's still a shiny new penny. We actually moved into the new station that we're currently in today in November 2018.
6 years, holy cow.
6 years, but it feels like it was
yesterday.
And we were extremely blessed and fortunate because our old station was never even actually built to be a fire station.
Right.
It was actually an insulation company, and we still had the exact same number of apparatus that we have today rammed into a building that was about 2/3 the size of the one that we have now. And we had a single office meeting area with a kitchenette and a single whole bathroom, and it was you could see the daylight coming through the ceiling of the roof and everything. So it was way past time, but that was a huge accomplishment for us.
Absolutely. Of course, that's at Charter Oak in Douglas. For those not familiar with that, which is a stone throw away from Charter Oak Elementary School, so
yes.
Not too far if you're not familiar with the area. But got a lot to talk about here. Your area is unique, District 2 in Eastern Logan County.
We try not to act special, but yes, we are unique because in all reality, the south part of Logan County is extremely populated.
Yes.
And because of where it's located, kind of sandwiched between Guthrie and Edmond, and it's a nice problem to have. I've grown up in southern Logan County all my life, since '79, and my parents still live down there. My brother and his family still live down there. A lot of friends and family still live in the area. It's just astonishing how much it's grown
Yes.
over the last couple of decades. And when I was a kid, all these areas that we're talking about and discussing was considered very rural. Well, until you start getting far southeast Logan County, it's not as rural anymore. We have huge neighborhoods that are popping up just in our jurisdiction alone of 56 square miles that we cover. We have housing additions with $500,000 homes, and $350,000, $400,000 homes, and some of them have anywhere between, on average, about 60 to 100 homes in each one of those neighborhoods. So, and the vast majority of them have popped up in the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and then you have some nice paved roads. You have some dirt roads. You have roads that don't go through. I mean, it is. You have to know the area for sure to navigate the area.
It is, and some of that's just geography, how stuff's been cut up. But there's often times where we get a call that's further out east. We actually have to drop down into Oklahoma County to take Sorghum Mill all the way out east, all the way to Luther Road, just so that we could have a straight through road, and then come back north into Logan County and start working our way back to the east. And it puts a additional time on our response times, and can make it sometimes pretty trying for us to be able to get to somebody when they're in their hour of need.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not to get too far in the weeds, but your Title 18, Title 19, some areas it's another thing as well. But at Woodcrest, all 100% volunteer firefighters at Woodcrest Fire Department.
There's nobody on the department that is a career firefighter. Now we do offer some stipends, and we do try to give some incentive pay, but according to state statute and the Oklahoma State Firefighters Pension rules, we are still 100% volunteer fire department. It's just trending to the direction, because of our call volume, about the demand and the need that the people need to have full-time firefighters.
And Woodcrest volunteer firefighters are responding to medical calls and fire calls.
Yeah, we are a licensed EMRA, Emergency Medical Response Agency, with the state of Oklahoma. We're actually spoiled and completely blessed by having Dr. Warden as our medical director, same medical director that Guthrie and many other agencies across Logan County and even the state of Oklahoma. They have, over 100 agencies now. And they have just blown everybody away that I've ever seen as a medical director, with their training, with their expertise, with the Heartland Medical Direction team, and the way that they address people and keep up with their training. And nobody in the 26 years of me being an EMT have I ever seen anybody that involved.
Yeah.
And it's impressive to watch them. So we're very fortunate to have Dr. Warden on our team, and they're very active with how we do things at Woodcrest Fire Department. We actually host a lot of their classes. So it is something that helps us, but it also in turn helps our citizens, because we feel like we're getting some of the best training out there, but we know that we can always improve by having more readily available paid personnel on at a moment's notice.
How many volunteers do you have, and what's the ideal number?
Well, by state pension rule, I can only have 30 personnel. Not exactly sure why that's a rule, and I never really truly gotten a straight answer. And
sure,
I'm not,
some
I'm not knocking the
decision
state
made.
pension.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody came up with that rule.
There's a formula, I'm sure.
But by state rule, I can only have 30 on my department. If you have less than 50 square miles, you can only have 25.
Okay.
But to me, if you can fund them, why not have them? But right now we're holding strong. I believe right now we're almost right at the 30 mark. It fluctuates a little bit. Some people get hired at other career departments, or move, or starting families and stuff like that. So they start making other things priorities and stuff, because being a volunteer is a lot of sacrifice.
It is.
Sacrifice not only to yourself, but the biggest issue is time. Time away from your family, time away from your children, whether it's ball games or recitals, or we've even had to miss, Christmas mornings and Easter Sundays and birthdays and stuff we've had to drop and run because of a big incident or a fire. And it is all about sacrifice. Whenever you talk about volunteer, it's a big sacrifice, not only for us, but for the people around us and our families.
Yeah, and it's rewarding when those who want to give back to their area where they come from. There's also who are getting into the fire department, wanting to go to a career. And it is hard to get on to a career fire department. Guthrie, Stillwater, Edmond, Oklahoma City. It is tough to get there. It is a process. There's so many of them, but it has to be rewarding when you train your guys and they get those career jobs that they're looking for.
We actually encourage, if anybody has the will and desire to go career, we actually encourage it. Used to, it was very frowned upon because you would invest so much into a person with time and training and the investment of money and the monetary side of it. But if you see people from your department actually getting hired on to career departments, and first of all, somebody's fulfilling their dream, going into a great career field, and at the same time, it reflects back on your department on what you're doing with your personnel. The quality of personnel that you're putting out there and actually giving to pass on to another department or another agency. So that actually does speak volumes, and it is difficult to get onto a career department. I know that Oklahoma City, Edmond, Midwest City, I believe Moore, and I think I saw Yukon the other day. They're all hiring right now, and I think Edmond just closed theirs out as far as applications, and they had over 600 applications I think they're trying to hire somewhere between 12 to 15 slots. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot of competition.
Coming up here in a little bit, we have Woodcrest Fire Chief Luke Young with us. We're going to be talking about the November 5th election for a millage rate increase, something similar that Oak Cliff and Deer Creek just went through. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But to kind of step it up before that, how is Woodcrest funded?
Right now, currently, our Title 19 area, which is property tax based, which is also the most densely populated, and it also accounts for our highest amount of call volume, is the Title 19 area, and they are completely tax based. The Title 18 area is our subscription based area, not as developed, not as populated, but they still account for a fair amount of calls, and the development that's starting to happen out there is it's pretty mind-blowing just to see it happening. But we are right now completely funded by the property taxes that we receive and the quarter-cent sales tax that we receive through Logan County, which we're extremely grateful to all the people who voted to extend that and all the people who got behind the departments, because not every volunteer department in Logan County, there's 14 of us, not every department has the property tax-based area, so they rely almost 100% strictly on the quarter-cent sales tax, the portion that they receive off of that for the fire departments across the county. They're using this to keep fuel in the trucks, to insure everybody, and put a little bit of gear and equipment on people, and they're doing a great job with it, and some of them have to do fundraisers and stuff like that. But it's always hard to try to find the money sometimes, and then the bigger you get, the more demanding it becomes. It all comes with a cost. So
apparatuses, engines, all that stuff continues to rise. It is crazy the amount, as anything, your cheeseburger and your french fries, but try a fire truck of any size. You work so hard to get those funds in, and work so hard to get this bunker gear for this guy, and then got to look to upgrade equipment, and boom, price tags.
The cost of everything. Of course, everybody is feeling the heat of inflation, and it's a load that a lot of people are trying to carry, and they're getting quite tired of it, and they just feel beat down by it. We all are, whether you're going to get groceries or whatever it is that you're getting. And I know the grocery tax is coming off, but even when you go buy clothing for your kids or whatever it is that you're doing, it all costs money. But in the fire service, it doesn't matter if you're career or volunteer, it doesn't matter. It all is expensive. There's nothing cheap in the fire, or EMS for that matter. To put a a bunker coat and a bunker pants on you, in other words, our coat and pants that we wear in the fires, our PPE, just the coat and pants is going to cost $5,000. That's not counting the boots or the gloves or the helmet or the hood, our SCBA that we wear on our backs. To outfit you completely is going to cost closer to around about $15,000 a man.
Yeah, and Luke was brave enough to ask me to come out and help him out one day on some fire training. So I actually got to put all this stuff on and went through the process, went into a burning structure and put out some fire. And I can tell you that stuff is heavy. It was summertime when I had mine on as well. And everything was good for me except for the mask. I had to adapt to the oxygen, learn how to breathe with that mask on. And I've been around firefighters for the last 10, 12 years covering them, and the way they can talk and move and do everything with that daggone thing on, I don't know how they did it, but I guess over time you get used to it and adapt to it. But that was definitely something that I had to learn in that deal. And we're watching a little bit of footage here. Big thank you to Aaron Ryburn, who shot this video and sharing us with this. There's the apparatus, the engine 2 for Woodcrest and structure. And I actually got to go in there and put fire on there. And it was, I put the water in, and I wasn't ready for, what's it called, when you put the fire out and then you get the steam.
The steam conversion.
The steam conversion. Yeah. I was not ready for steam conversion. And I went in there, okay, it's hot, it's warm, as you expect. But when you put the water on the fire and you have steam conversion, it's a whole other thing. It was like, wow, I was not ready for that.
The way we describe the steam conversion to a lot of people, it's kind of like whenever you want to check out your biscuits or your rolls or your cake that's in the oven that's baking at about 350 degrees, and you go and open up that oven and you get that blast of heat that you're not quite ready for that smacks you in the face. Inside in structure fire, where you actually introduce water onto the fire and you get that steam conversion that we've been talking about, it's the same kind of feeling, but it's coming through your bunker gear. And you know, the fire that you were in, we had it about roughly 850 degrees, and when you hit it with that steam conversion, it basically almost drives you to the floor.
Heads up on steam conversion next time. Now I know, but maybe a heads up next time for the rookie.
Well, we got to surprise you sometime.
It was. So, all right. Well, November 5th, there is election for residents who live inside the Woodcrest Fire District. And right now, you talk about your two primary funding sources outside of grants is the millage rate, which right now is at 6 mills. And the question is, yes or no to increase that millage to 10 mills on that. So talk about this is something Oak Cliff and Deer Creek just recently had passed last election in August. That both of those passed, and those will be in effect here soon. Talk about what that does Woodcrest from 6 mills to 10 mills for the Woodcrest Fire Department.
Well, to give us what we feel like is the adequate funding that we need to start going into the future with the department to help meet the demands and to actually start providing the best opportunities to serve our citizens with the best care, with the best response times, is to increase the millage. We have been sitting at a 6 for over a decade, and long before I got onto the department, which was actually less than what Oak Cliff, you had mentioned that Oak Cliff and Deer Creek just passed theirs back in August. They were at a 7 and a 7.25.
Yep.
And so they were already higher than us on their millage rates, which is great for them. I'm grateful to them. I mean, I got family that lives in Oak Cliff area. And
you were a firefighter at Oak Cliff.
I was a firefighter at Oak Cliff for 10 years, and a lot invested there, a lot of great people, they're a great department. Chief Hudson Pillar's doing some great things over there, and his staff, and then Chief Beagles at Deer Creek doing a phenomenal job. He has a challenging task all on his own. Has a 6A class school over in his area that he serves.
2 counties.
Huge neighborhoods, and they're meeting some serious demands over there. That's in Logan County and Oklahoma County. So, but to increase to 10, just like as they did, is really showing the need of how much development, commercial and residential, in Southern Logan County. It's not just the residential side of things that this is going to help benefit to. We get several calls for us at the On Q, at Waterloo and I-35. It's in our jurisdiction. We have 3 Dollar General stores in our jurisdiction.
3, wow.
3 now. Yes,
Yeah.
3. Yes, those spread
More
like
to come.
wildfire.
More to come.
No pun intended. But we have the Lazy E Arena, which houses at any time they can hold up over 7,000 people in attendance. They have over 40 major events a year. That's a lot. We see constant traffic flow up and down Douglas and Seward and Waterloo Road, stock trailers and a lot of cattle haulers and pickup trucks and everything, going to and from these events at the Lazy E. And then, of course, one of our most precious things is Charter Oak Elementary that you had mentioned earlier. Worked very closely with Dr. Simpson, a lot of discussions even before the school was built, talking with him, talking with the architect, and those are our precious babies over there that we want to protect. And a lot of us have children that go to school there or did, and all of our constituents and our citizens of our jurisdiction, a lot of them have their children that go to Charter Oak, and Charter Oak has a little over 500 students and faculty on campus at
And
one
more
time.
coming.
Yeah, and they're already expanding. They've already added on, I believe, 2 portables.
2 portables, and then the latest school bond election will add 6 new classrooms out
Right.
there.
I mean, it just keeps showing everywhere you look about the amount of growth that we're having in Southeast County down in our jurisdiction. And all that growth comes with more calls, more need for first responders, for medical calls, and we respond to the school on occasion for a child that's not feeling well or fallen and had an accident or nothing super bad yet, thank goodness, and knock on wood. But it's
The playground can be a tough
still
place
something
sometimes.
that we have to take a priority for, and we take it very seriously, and we want to be able to provide the best service possible.
So the additional funding will help add to that, right? What you got going on right now.
Yes,
So with the funding, 6 mills to 10 mills, what very important? What are we looking at as far as increase for a resident inside? It varies.
It does vary because it depends upon what the assessed value is of that property. I will use my own personal one as a example. With mine, just using round figures, around just between around $350,000 a year, and my increase per month is around $12 a month is what it will actually cost in increased funding per month for that assessed value of a residence. But everybody's is going to vary depending upon your property and the assessed value of it. But the way that people can find that out is to go on to the Logan County Assessor's website, and there's actually a calculator formula. You can fact check it. Also encourage people to get a copy of their most recent statement. It actually breaks down the millage rates for each entity, whether it's Guthrie Public Schools, our current rate with Woodcrest Fire Department, it shows the 6, Logan County Sheriff's Office, Guthrie EMS, all the millage rates are listed
VOTEC.
on the VOTEC and everything. All those millage rates are listed beside each entity on your county assessor statement.
Yeah, and I can show you how to do that here real quick. So I'm going to go to my Surface here. LoganCountyOK.com is the website for Logan County for whether it be assessor, county commissioners, all that stuff. So you go down over to government, go down to the assessor's page, and you see the assessor there. And then over on the left side, computing property tax. And then there's all the information right there on how to formulate that property tax there. So I would certainly think if you have questions, you can also call the fire station, the assessor, all that. So what's the message? I know you guys doing some proactive, being on social media. You also out and about in the public, and also with this show here as well, trying to get all the formats for everybody.
Yeah, of course we are proactive on social media. We want the people to see who we are, what we're about. It's not for ooh, look at us and polish our own brass, so to speak. It's to mostly an educational outreach tool. I was actually blessed and fortunate when I was at Oak Cliff, myself and Randy Lester, who's now a Logan County deputy, got to fly up to the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and that was a great trip. We both were in the public education, public relations class, and it was a phenomenal class. Learned a great deal of information as far as resources and everything, and how to present things to the public and work with the public as far as public relations and public education. Of course, we love working with the kids at Charter Oak Elementary with our local Girl Scout troops. They actually came over to the station and fed us last month on our firefighters meeting night. But we love public relations, but we try to be as proactive as possible and front load our citizens with all the information that we possibly can, even with this proposition, so that it answers everybody's questions up front. Yeah. And people don't have to wonder if we're hiding something. There's nothing to hide. The message is simple. We want to give the best service possible to our citizens and our property owners within our jurisdiction, and their families and their loved ones. And there's often times when we're serving people that don't even live in the state of Oklahoma, because we cover 5 miles of I-35 and on the northbound side, and we, like I said, the Lazy E draws people from all across the world. Yeah, and it's not something just for our citizens; it's for everybody who comes into our jurisdiction.
November 5th is Election Day. I think that's I think there's something else on the ballot that day.
There might be something big on there.
So if you live in the Woodcrest Fire District, that will be on there. And I can tell you, firefighters, EMS will always be needed, and that task will always be needed and always need to be funded. So I highly encourage everyone to get out there who can and vote for this. And I see you guys work and behind the scenes, and you guys do it with passion for the people. And if you're not in it for the people, then you don't need to be in that business, because you see things, you feel things, and it's just it's a calling.
It is. It's 100% a calling, and we always we don't hire people onto our department without putting them through our own academy. We don't just hand them bunker gear and a radio and say, here, show up when the tone goes off. Yeah. We actually put them through an extensive recruit academy. You got to actually partake in their final live fire whenever you came out and joined us. But it's something you do have to have a calling for. You do have to have a heart and a desire to serve. And if you don't, you're in the wrong place. It's not a social club. We often tell the guys, say, look, if you want to go get a T-shirt and a hat or something, you can go on Amazon or go online and order any fire department T-shirt. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are serious about wanting to truly help people and have a passion and a drive to do it. And some people actually find out it's not for them. Sure. It does take a special kind of person who can see things and hear things and stuff, and stuff we have to be careful not to take home to our families.
Correct.
My sweet wife, Angie, she'll stop me really quick on a lot of things. She's like, did you have a bad call? Yes, I did. Stop right there.
Yeah,
And they don't need to hear that, but it is a calling. It is something that every single one of the people on the department have a true desire to want to help. And that's what we want the people to know and the people to understand, that it's all about serving. It's all about serving them and doing the best we possibly can to give the best service that we can. And the fire doesn't care, the medical call that we go on does not care if you're paid or your career or your volunteer. It absolutely does not change. The fires are just as hot. The people still get hurt or sick just as much as anybody else. Doesn't matter if you're in downtown Oklahoma City or you're in
Philadelphia.
Or in southeast Logan County. It does not matter where you are as far as paid or career or volunteer. All firefighters nationwide or global have to do it because they have a calling to serve.
Yeah, when you want an emergency, you need them there, and they're going to be there. They're just going to be there. It's just you want to make it as easy for everybody to take care of you or your loved one or your property.
Absolutely,
it's been to many scenes as a reporter, and it's devastating to watch things that people have to go through. So
you provide great coverage for us, and we know that you've been out on some very big calls.
Yeah,
even the Simpson Road fire that we had. It'll be 2 years on March 31st now.
Wow.
We actually lost 48 homes on our side of I-35, and it was extremely high fire danger that day, extremely high winds, along with extremely high wind gust, drought-like conditions, kind of like today.
Yeah. We're recording this on October 24th, and it's one of those days to be careful. So
it's something we're encouraging everybody to not burn at all outside. Be careful with cutting metal because sparks, arcs, and any slag or anything coming off of somebody welding. And one of the biggest problems, everybody wants to immediately say that it's somebody throwing cigarettes out on the roadway. A lot of times it's somebody who's actually dragging a chain or a piece of wire or something off of their truck or their trailer that's actually sparking a lot of the fires that you've seen recently up and down I-35.
Yeah. Keep the grass short up
Keep
to
it
your
short,
property, on your property.
And keep any extensive debris, excessive firewood, piled up leaves, or anything away from your house. Because once it starts to hit those, it'll go up into the eaves and then into the attic of the house, and it's very difficult to stop it.
Don't take this weird, but I think about you every now and then when I'm leaving the house, because you always post about those doors open and closing and going to bed, open and closing doors. I often think about you when I close my doors.
There's one big thing we, in the last 5 years, have really tried to push on the public. We call it close before you doze. And the biggest reason is everybody always used to talk about stop, drop, and roll and everything. That's great. I still haven't seen somebody spontaneously combust yet. But we really try to emphasize the need for close before you doze, because what it does, it compartmentalizes your home. And I know mamas want to be able to hear, and parents want to be able to hear their babies at night.
Technology
go to
for
Walmart
that now.
or go on Amazon. It costs $20 to get a baby monitor.
Yep.
And they work well, but close the door. Don't just close it 3/4 of the way or almost. Close it all the way, because when you compartmentalize that room, the rest of the house could be on fire, and the smoke and everything can be traveling throughout the house. But if you compartmentalize that room, you're actually saving a life, or extending the amount of time it takes for the fire to get in there up to 20 minutes. 20 minutes can certainly be the difference between somebody living and dying. So it's a small investment to just close that door, and then if you have to, like I said, put a baby monitor in, it costs $20.
Yeah.
So it's a great practice that we're pushing. Even with little kids, we try to tell them, it's like, you need to close that door at night and tell mom and dad why.
Great advice. Get out on November 5th. There's a bunch of stuff on there, but Woodcrest Fire Department District, you will have that measure on there. Vote yes or no on that one. So increase from 6 mils to 10 mils, and I think it'll be a great thing if this were to pass. So I encourage everyone to go out and vote. Luke, appreciate you. We can go on for another hour, but we got things to do. You got fire weather to watch today. So.
Yeah, we actually front loaded today. We have 6 personnel at the station standing by, ready to go.
Awesome. Good talking to you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Luke Young with the Woodcrest Fire Department. That will do it here. I hope you have a great day. Be safe out there and go out and vote November 5th.